Hello, friends. The Nile flows gently beneath my canoe, much like the river of time that has carried the stories of Egypt's great kings. But today, we are not speaking of pharaohs. Today, we talk about the women of ancient Egypt. Queens, priestesses, healers, and everyday workers. Women who held more power and respect than most of their counterparts in the ancient world. Unlike in many other ancient civilizations, Egyptian women had rights. They could own property, run businesses, inherit land, and even take legal action without a male guardian. This wasn't just limited to the elite. Even working-class women could manage farms, work as traders, or serve in temples. But of course, the highest positions of power were reserved for a select few. The queens and royal mothers who shaped Egypt's history from behind the throne, and sometimes from on it. One of the most powerful roles a woman could have was God's wife of Amun. This wasn't just a religious title, it was a position of political influence, controlling vast temple wealth and acting almost like a queen in Thebes. Women in these roles had enormous prestige, sometimes rivaling the pharaoh himself. And then there were the great queens, the ones whose names still echo through history. Hatshepsut, who ruled as pharaoh, donning the royal beard and leading armies. Nefertiti, whose beauty and power shone during Akhenaten's religious revolution. Tiaye, the brilliant wife of Amenhotep III, whose intelligence and diplomacy influenced Egypt's foreign affairs. And of course, Cleopatra, the last queen of Egypt, but we will save her story for another time. But power wasn't just for queens. Ordinary women played key roles in Egyptian society. Female doctors existed, with records of women practicing medicine as early as the Old Kingdom. Women also worked as weavers, bakers, and even scribes, though literacy was mostly reserved for men. Some women even led business ventures, hiring workers and making profits entirely on their own. And when it came to family life, Egyptian women had legal rights over marriage and divorce. If a woman wanted to leave her husband, she could, and she was entitled to keep her property and wealth. This was revolutionary compared to other civilizations, where women were often treated as little more than possessions. But while women had rights, Egypt was still a patriarchal society. Few women held military positions, and most government roles were still dominated by men. Even queens, powerful as they were, usually ruled through their husbands or sons, rather than holding full control. Hatshepsut was a rare exception, and even she had to present herself as a male king to maintain her rule. Yet, for all the limitations, Egyptian women lived with a level of independence and respect that was almost unheard of in the ancient world. Their voices mattered, their work was valued, and their presence shaped one of the greatest civilizations in history. But when we think of greatness in ancient Egypt, one name towers above the rest: Ramses the Great. A warrior, a builder, and a king whose legacy still stands in stone across Egypt. Join me next time as we step into the legendary reign of Ramses the Great.